Live in the building. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. For those that were off, those that were home, relaxing and all that, welcome back in. Now it's back to the grind. You had your day off. You were able to rest and relax. Now we're back on the grind. So listen, as y'all come on in the building, let me know that y'all could hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Drop something in the chat too as well. Let me know that you could hear me. Today we're going to review a couple of opportunities that's out there on sam.gov. What it's like to do federal government contracting, so you can see for yourself what it's like to actually be in this space. So if you have questions, y'all know how we do it. Hello. If you have questions, if you want to see it, drop it into the chat, leave a comment down below. Let me know that y'all hit the like button too as well. Let me all know that what's going on too as well. So for all my family that's over there on TikTok and all that, come on over to YouTube. We are live on YouTube right now. You will be able to actually see my screen, see more about what we're talking about. So let me know that y'all are coming on into the building. Listen, when you enter into the building, drop me a message. Let me know what side of the world that you're looking on. So if you're first time coming across my content, first time coming across my channel, welcome back. I am Coach Jay with the FGC Simplified Community, where we teach people, entrepreneurs and business owners, how to get into federal government contracting, utilizing the system called the middleman strategy. If this is your first time coming across my content, listen, we created a system called the flow that anyone can be able to overlay on top of their pre-existing business, or if they're new to entrepreneurship, they want to get out of the rat race. They want to get into a business model that does not require overhead capital, does not require me having any expensive equipment, me having some type of specialty in order for me to get active in this space. So that's what we show you. We show you our simplified process and system that anyone can be able to follow to be able to be successful in this federal government contracting space. There are only two requirements if you want to be successful in federal government contracting like we teach. You have to be able to read and comprehend, and you have to be able to follow instructions. Once you are able to do those two, you can be successful in federal government contracting as long as you are consistent and you have a system that you're able to follow. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. As I mentioned, I am Coach Jay with the FGC Simplified Community. I see my family coming in the building, man. I see we got Millennial Global in the building. What's going on, Corey? We got Houston in the building, and we got Jasmine from TikTok in the building. I see y'all. So what I want to demonstrate tonight, I want to go over a couple of opportunities and things that you are going to see when you are looking for opportunities to fulfill federal government contract. One of the beauties of doing federal government contracting as the middleman, if you're employing the middleman strategy, you do not have to specialize or niche down in any one particular area. You can find whatever the federal government needs, and then you can find a local business, a local subcontractor that has the ability, the manpower, the skill to fulfill what the federal government is looking for, and you can bring the two together and be able to incur an income from home, because you are not the one that's doing the physical work. So if you have questions, again, come over here to YouTube, drop it in the chat. I'll bring it up on the screen. I will take the time to be able to answer the questions. But what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to show you a couple of opportunities that's out there. I get this question all the time. People message me day after day, so many DMs and emails saying, what are the opportunities that the federal government looks for in this space? What are those opportunities? All right. So what we're going to look at today, the first one we're going to look at today is, now we use sam.gov in order for us to find the opportunities that we are going to go after. There are so many different ways and strategies to do federal government contracting. I simply stick with sam.gov. Listen, I know that some people say that sam.gov is convoluted, it's crowded, but I would show you that using sam.gov, there's a simple way in order for you to find the opportunities that's going on in sam.gov. All right. So one of the opportunities that we're going to look at is what is called goat livestock grazing for wooded vegetation. Listen, I know what you're saying. The federal government is buying goats. Yeah, they're buying the services of goat grazing. This is one of my earlier contracts that I have won. And the reason I went after the opportunity like this was to simply curiosity. I found this opportunity and wanted to know what in the world the federal government had to do with goats. I thought they wanted, listen, this is the Caribbean side of me. I thought they wanted goat meat at first, all right? But it's not until after I looked into it that I found out what goat grazing actually was. Let me know, listen, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, were you familiar or do you know that goat grazing was even a business? Did you know that a business model for goat grazing did exist? Now, be honest, because I didn't. I did not even know that goat grazing was such a thing. All right. For those that are jumping on in the chat, I see you. Let me see what we got. What we got on the bill. We said we got Probably Card said for those that who have limited resources, shouldn't take a number on as a protege. For those of us who have limited resources, should take on a certain number of us as protege. So listen, this is why I do what we call our community content. This is why I go live as much as possible every single day, so I can share with you the free information in order for you to get started. In order for you to get started in this federal government contracting space, the only cost for you to get started is what it will cost you to get your business registered in the state that you live in. Listen, it's a mindset shift that has to happen. I know that there are people that wanted to get into business, but they would drop $300 on some shoes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They will drop $800 to go on trips. But to get a business established in order to generate a revenue to change your family outlook situation, they will hesitate on that. See, that's an internal mindset that you have to shift in order for you to be successful in this space. But the only cost to get started in federal government contract is what it will cost you to get your business registered in your state. Man, there are some states it's $35 to get your business registered and filed in your state. Less than a cup of coffee at times in some states to get that started. Everything after you've gotten your business registered is free. It's free for you to get a EIN number for that business. It's free for you to get that business registered inside of sam.gov. It is free for you to go on to sam.gov and find opportunities that you can actually fulfill. It's free for you to send in a proposal or a bid to the federal government and let them know that you and your business can fulfill this work. It's absolutely free, but it will take some time on your end to learn that process. All right. Listen, if you already have your cage number, if you already you've been in this space, but you've been hesitant to get in because you don't know the process, That's why we come in. That's where me and my community comes in. If you want to learn our system and our proven step-by-step process, you have a choice. You can see that we have a workshop that's coming up on the 18th through the 20th of September. You can mark it on your calendar. You can make sure and register early. A lot of people were trying to register for our one-day event, but it was all closed out. So you register early for our 3-day workshop where we will teach you our entire system on how we actually do this, how we find federal government contracts, how we understand what it is the federal government is asking for, and then how we actually walk through the process of submitting and winning these proposals. On the middleman strategy, you do not have to have expertise and skill set in what the federal government is asking for. You just need to know how to find a local business that has that ability to fulfill what the federal government is looking for, and you put the two together. All right. So don't let income stop you from getting started. Don't let lack of having the resources right now. As I mentioned earlier, this is the only business model that you don't need capital up front to get in and win a federal government contract. You don't need capital up front. You don't have to buy any expensive equipment. You don't have to pay for marketing because the federal government markets directly to you. All right. All right. So let's move on. Good, but a good question, though. Again, if you have questions, drop it in the chat. I got y'all. I'll pause and I'll answer questions for you too as well. What we're going to do here, we're going to go through a couple of what's out there so I can show you what is out there. You don't have to put yourself in a box. We will show you some of the opportunities out there, what the federal government is actually looking for. And then I would open it up for any Q&A. If you have questions, we'll bring it in and we'll wrap it on up. All right. So this is goat grazing. So the federal government is actually looking for goat grazing. So for my family that's on TikTok, if you want to actually see my screen, see what the things that I'm demonstrating, come on over and join us on YouTube. It's going to be live over here on YouTube. You do not need a website. You do not need a logo. You do not need those other stuff in order to win a federal government contract. All right. So my TikTok family, the party is live on YouTube. So come over to YouTube Live. We are the same on every platform. FGC Simplified on all platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube. We are over here live. All right. So the federal government is looking for goat grazing. I did not have no clue, no idea what goat grazing was. I didn't even know it was a thing. All right. So this is an opportunity that, as you can see, it says active right now. This is a live active opportunity that's out right now on sam.gov. So the federal government is looking for goat livestock grazing for a wooded vegetation through the targeted grazing method. All right, so this is a brief description of what they're looking for. We can see that it's still active right now. And once we come down in all opportunities, we can see that this is set aside for total small business. Listen, I don't even know if there is a large business that has goat grazing opportunities. I'm not sure. So let me see. So let me give you all a little hint for those that wants to know. So we can see goat farming here, and we have what is called the NAIC code, the National Standard Code. So we can take a look at this code and we can see what it is the federal government is actually looking for. Or we can see what the size that would classify a small business versus a large business. So let me take a look at the documentation. So as you can see, once we start going into it, we can see that this is going to be a firm fixed price, and it's going to be what is called an IDIQ, which stands for indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So what it is the federal, it's almost like an on-call basis. For those that are new to this space, what an indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery is, it's almost like an on-call basis. The federal government is going to reach out to you as needed for when they need this goat grazing stuff to be done. So, so right here, they give you some. So this is one of the concerns that I get. This is one of the messages that I get. Listen, I am a total small business, and utilizing the middleman strategy, the other business that I'm going to hire to actually perform the work, do they need to fall on this? So you can see right here, a business based with that NAICS code, they let you know what size of business will constitute as a standard size business versus a small size business. So it says that you must have an average annual revenue of 2.5 million to be considered a small business. 2.5 million. How many goat grazing businesses do you know of that makes that amount? All right. But before we go into the documents, listen, I had to show y'all what it is goat grazing is. So y'all can not be like me and be in the dark on what goat grazing is. So let me see if I could share this with you. Let's see if this is what goat grazing actually is. This is what goat grazing is. As you all can see, these goats are out here killing it. Now I gotta give a shout out to Cowboy Max for supplying the video. Cowboy Max for supplying the video. Copyright, And as you can see, these goats are out here killing it. That's what goat grazing is. The federal government has a need. They have some grass, some grow shrub. The farmers come out with their goats, and then they provide a service of having the goats graze the actual field in order for them to actually keep the fires down, they keep undergrowth down and all of that. All right. So that's a quick synopsis on what you can think of when you're looking for goat grazing. Now, as simple as I am able to do this, you can do this too. If you come across an opportunity that the federal government is looking for, and you don't have an idea of what exactly it is that they're looking for, you can simply use the tools at your disposal. Go to Google and you can find out and see an image of what the federal government is looking for if you are not familiar with it yourself. So you can determine who you're going to reach out to in order to fulfill this opportunity. All right. So now that we have that information, now we look at the documentation to see exactly what it is the federal government is asking for. As I mentioned, this is a simplified process once you have a blueprint in order for you to follow. You find a need that the federal government has, and then you find a small business, or you find a local subcontractor or business that has what the federal government is looking for, and you're simply going to request a quote from them. So let's open the documentation that will actually show us what it is the federal government wants. All right. So let's bring it onto the stage so we can look at it together. I want y'all to see how simplified the federal government will be as it pertains to giving you the information. One thing that we have to keep in mind when we're getting into federal government contracting, you need to know that this is a need for the federal government. The federal government has a need and they're looking to fulfill it. So anything that you see on sam.gov or a procurement website, it's actually a need of the federal government. And the goal of being in business is to find problems, find the need of a customer, and be able to deliver that need. And they are going to be happy to part ways with any type of revenue to get that service or product from you. Okay? That's just simple business basics 101. Find a group of people that have a problem and fix that problem. So you can look at SAM.gov as a problem board. They have a lot of issues, they have a lot of needs, and we are able to fulfill those needs and provide the federal government what they want. So put yourself in the shoes of the federal government, put yourself in the shoes of these federal government agencies. If they have a need, they are going to provide you with all the information you need in order for you to fulfill that need. They are not going to make it hard for you to help them relieve the pain or the blockage that they have. They are going to make it as simple and as clear as possible for you. So look at you can see here, they're giving you the information that they're needing. They're saying one of the goals of the Midway tall grass prairie is to reduce noxious weed and exotic invasive plants. If you don't know that the goats eat everything they can get their hands on, they eat. If you go down the rabbit hole and look to see what it is and how, listen, I don't even know who came up with this. I'm not even sure who came up with this, all right? Who came up with the fact of getting livestock to come out and graze instead of just doing landscaping or, but that's what they want. So we give that to them. They specify control to include both native and non-native plant species. So they're telling you what they want. So they're giving you the address and location. It's about 40 miles southwest of Chicago. So we know that it's in Chicago area. So listen, they're going to let you know where they want it to be done as well. They're going to pinpoint for you where they want the service to be completed. They're saying that, listen, this can be up to 500 plus acres of field. Man, all right, here we go. Let's go down to the scope. I'm getting excited looking at this because when I look at the opportunities that's out there, in order for you to provide a good or a service to the federal government without having to do the physical work, I do not have to have these goats in my yard or in my back pocket in order to fulfill the need of the federal government. I can just simply find farmers that's in the Chicago area who have goats and do this for a living. Listen, I showed you, I demonstrate for you that this is an actual thing. This is an actual business that's actually going on right now. This is not a startup that I have to create in order to give the federal government what they need, but I can just provide this product and service to them. Go grazing. All right. So the work shall be accomplished through what is called a task order, TO, issued against an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. For those that are just jumping on in, we established that an indefinite delivery and indefinite quantity can be summed up as an on-call basis. When the federal government has a need, they are going to reach out to you for you to come fulfill the actual service. This need can be fulfilled indefinitely, meaning if you come out and service the grass today, and then in 2 weeks we had some rains and the grass grows back, they will call you out again for you to fulfill the service. So you can come out as many times as possible in order for you to fulfill that. So listen, if y'all are in here, make sure you click the like button, you share too as well. If you're ghost watching, make sure you subscribe, help the channel out. All right. Let me pause for a minute before we jump back into this. Let me see if I saw some questions come up. Let me answer some questions. Just a reminder that we are having our 3-day workshop. If you want to be part of the FGC community, where we are able to hold your hand and walk you through this process of federal government contracting. We teach you our system called the flow, how you are able to find opportunities, find federal government contracts, understand what it is the federal government is asking for, and then be able to fulfill all of the need of the federal government without having to do the physical work. If you want to learn our process, we are having a 3-day workshop that's coming up. September 18th through the 20th. It's from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can do this from the comfort of your home. Listen, for those that have come to my workshop and come to my classes, listen, I don't care if you got your muumuu on. I don't care if you got your do-rag, if you got your wave cap, whatever it is. As long as you are absorbing the information and taking action, you are going to be able to be successful in this space. We have just celebrated on last week our 3,000th person that has come through our training and are able to win a federal government contract within the first 60, 90 days of being inside of our community. So if you want to let's jump on in. We'll be able to help you. All right, let's see what we got here. Gotcha. I just received my UEI. What is the next step? So for those that are new in this space, the verification, when you are registering your business inside of sam.gov, it's now divided into two parts. The registration process is divided into two parts. The first part is a verification. They verify to make sure that you are legitimate. They want to verify that you are a business, and you are in good standings in your state. So they verify your business first. Once your business is verified and you know that you're legit, you are going to receive a UEI number. UEI stands for Unique Entity ID. That is not the completion of your registration. That is just the verification process. All right. After you've been verified, you need to continue on with the registration. That's when that's where they will ask you who's the point of contact. They'll ask you for your bank account so they can pay you. They will ask you some questions about the size of your business, how much revenue, so they can classify their business. Okay. After you've completed all those questionnaires and filling out the questions, you are going to receive your cage code after the registration is processed. Once you receive your cage code, then you are fully registered inside of sam.gov, and now you are ready for the federal government to award you a federal government contract. Okay? So for you, Ms. Mozart, the next step is to continue on with the registration until you complete the registration. It will go into a pending status, and then you will receive your cage code, and then you will be fully registered inside of sam.gov. Okay? Good question, though. Good question. All right, who we got next? Next question we got. Melon says, do you give your subcontractors the government point of contact for them to contact themselves? No, you do not. Your subcontractor is not the one that's doing business with the federal government. Remember, we are the ones. That's why it is called the middleman strategy. We are always between the federal government and their needs, and we're between the local subcontractor and the business owner. You are always in between that. All communications and all directions goes through you. The federal government will not talk directly to your subcontractor, and your subcontractor will never talk directly to the federal government. Everything goes through you. Hence the reason it's called the middleman strategy. If the federal government has a question, they ask you, you ask your subcontractor, hey, subcontractor, what about X, Y, and Z? They give you an answer, you reply to the federal government. All right? All right, cool. All right, Corey, what's going on, man? Corey is in the building. Corey's asking, how large or how many members are in the community now? So as I mentioned, we just crossed, shout out to Natasha. We're shouting out to them. They actually pushed us over the 3,000 person that we have trained inside of using our system to be able to get in and learn our system and win federal government contracting. Now, since after that was 2 weeks ago, Nicole, shout out to you, Nicole, if you've seen this on the replay or if you're in the chat. Nicole just won her first federal government contracting last week. And right after that, Shahid and Taylor, shout out to you. Shout out to you. They just won. So we're up to 3,003 people that have known nothing about federal government contracting, has come into our space, onto our training, and have learned how to win federal government contracting. So active in our community right now, we have about 150 people that are active. If that answered your question, Corey. Once you learn this, once you learn our system and in our community, we are more than just federal government contracting. We talk about business growth, business building. What do you do after you start increasing your income from the federal government? How do you then use the federal government as seed money to then buy income producing assets, to then further your dreams and all that? So that's what our community is all about. So anybody in here that's listening on the replay or anything, you want to learn about the community, you want to know how to join the community, there will be a link down in the description, down in the show notes. You can make sure and register for the workshop that's coming up. Or you can just jump in the community so you can have this access to our training so you can be successful in this space. So I'm trying to demonstrate for you what's out there and how simple the process is. All right. Let's see if I can answer a couple more questions. Then we're going to jump back into the training. Let's jump back in. Let's see what we got. Q, we don't need a DUNS number to register on SAM.gov, but do we still need to get the DUNS number? All right. So for those that are new in this space, so the DUNS number, give you a little history about SAM.gov and the registration process and all that. In the past, we needed to have our DUNS number in order for us to register our business inside of SAM.gov. The federal government used to use Dun & Bradstreet, the DUNS number, in order to do the verification process to know that you are a liable and validated business. Okay. So they have gone away with the DUNS number for the purposes of registration. The DUN number is still there. The DUNS number is still there and it's still alive, but it's not needed for the purposes of registration. So you do not need your DUNS number in order to get your business registered inside of SAM.gov. But because the DUNS number is free and it's used to track your payment history so you can build like business credit and all that, and because it's free, we tell everyone just get it. Go ahead and get it. You can register and get your DUNS number, but your DUNS number is not needed for the purposes of federal government contracting. All right. Hope I was able to answer the question for you. All right. Here we go. Last one, and then we'll jump back into the train, man. Brianna says, how do you keep momentum when bidding after the subcontractors, especially when you're busy? Listen, having a system, and that's why we created our community. And that's why we come on and we let people know if you want to go far, you need to go with people around you. This is why having a group of individuals with the same mindset that are doing the same thing, because in any aspect of life, in business, in entrepreneurship, in your marriage, in any aspect of life, there are ebbs and flows. And you need people to encourage you and push you and pick you up when you are in your down valleys. And you want people to be your cheerleaders when you're on top. Okay? So there are ebbs and flows. So that's why having a community around you, that's why having a mentor or having someone who has walked the path before you, who can let you know where the landmines are or what to expect along the way is beneficial to you. Is beneficial to you. Listen, I have had people that have come into my community that have booked calls with me and have been registered inside of SAM.gov for years. They have their cage code. They've been registered inside of SAM.gov for years and have never submitted a proposal. Or if they have submitted a proposal, therefore only submitted like one or two in the span of 2 to 3 years. Listen, again, we have testimonials upon testimonials in our YouTube channel and on our community that people have entered my 3-day workshop, have known nothing about federal government contracting, and within 3 days, they are submitting proposal. So to answer your question, that's how you keep motivated. That's how you keep your eyes on the prize. All right. So let's jump back in. So we're looking at this goat grazing opportunity. So the scope of work is letting you know that they want a goat grazing to actually be done, and they give you the actual address and the information. They're letting you know that the ordering period, you can see right here, is going to be for 5 years. 5 years. So this opportunity, this one federal government opportunity, has the ability to pay you as much as the federal government is requesting the service for the next 5 years. Next 5 years. So the beautiful thing about being in the middleman strategy of federal government contracting is that there is no cap on the amount of opportunities, on the amount of federal government contracts you can hold at the same time. Because you are not the one that's physically doing the work, you are now not limited to the 8 to 10 hours in a day, or you are not limited to the geographical location of where you can actually get to perform the opportunity. So because you are not the ones that's performing the work, you can have federal government contract going on in multiple different locations at the same time. I was having a conversation with Corey today, and we were talking about the same thing. We sometimes have a limiting belief and a limiting mindset that what it is that I can physically do, but it's no longer what my hands could do, is what my mind could do. Me and my company right now, we have 26 active contracts going on right now all over the United States. And I have never been to any of the location. I have never cut a piece of grass. I have never cleaned a toilet. I have never fixed the roof. I have never done a generator servicing. If you want to learn this opportunity to change your mindset on how you view business and how you do actual federal government contracting, tap in with us. All right. So now we can see what it is the federal government wants, and now they go into description in general. So what we're trying to do, I'm trying to demonstrate for you how simple the process really is. Hence the name of our community, FGC Simplified. This is a simplified process that you can be able to follow to be able to find opportunities and give the federal government what they're wanting. But I'm showing to you and I'm demonstrating how clear and precise the federal government will be. They are giving you the high density wood invasion, all of this. They're letting you know the low density places. So now they're going to let you know what exactly they want and where they want it to be done. So we know that is in Chicago. So let me show y'all simply how it is we find. Now we know what it is the federal government wants. Now, how do I find a business, a local subcontractor that is able to fulfill what the federal government is looking for? Because remember, they have already provided us with what they want and where they want it to be done. So show y'all, let me blow your mind a little bit. For those that have been rocking with us for a while, you know. So now they actually give you an example of the goat grazing areas. Let's take a look at that one. Let's see what that one pops up. So we can see how, so I can demonstrate for you what's going on with that. There we go. Let's try that again. All right. Let me demonstrate for you. And again, this is just a highlight and to show you how much information and how detailed the federal government will be in providing you the information you need to know. So the question is, do I need to be proficient? Do I need to have the skill and the expertise in goat grazing in order for me to do this? Remember, you're not the one that's physically doing the work. You just need to know how to give and how to translate this information to a local business that has the goats, has the ability in order to do this. Okay. So now we see, so we can see that this is in Wilmington, Illinois. I can see it right here. They give me an address. They gave me, it's in Wilmington, Illinois. And this is the area where they want it to be grazed. Okay. So now I'm on with that information. I have the information on what the federal government wants, where they want it to be done. I can just simply use the resources that I have. I am sure that everybody on here who's listening to me, who's watching the replay, they have access to Google. You can go to Google and type in goat grazing. And let's see, boom. And now with just that 1-2 clicks of a keyboard, I now have all of these opportunities, all of these companies, these local farmers, these local areas that's in that area that provides this service. They are the professionals. They are the ones that does this on a day-to-day basis. So all I need to do is reach out to them and ask them, how much would it cost? Look at this. Look at this, man. This is Goat on the Goes. Listen, I ain't sponsored by them, but listen, I would, if this was an earlier time frame, I would reach out to them right now. And I will simply ask them for a quote. They even have a, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole. All right. So listen, I'm able to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm trying to get a price on how much it would cost to have a herd of goats come out to this area and provide a price. So someone asked this question and put a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat for me if you have thought of it or if you had the same reservation. All right. Put a 1 in the chat. So someone reached out to me and asked me, why would this subcontractor, why would this small business, why would this local farmer, why would they provide me with a quote in order to get this grazing services done? Put a 1 if you thought about it. Put a 1 if it's run across your mind. My answer to you, if you have thought about it, if you've had that question posed to you, why would this business, and again, you can replace goat grazing with any opportunity, any line of service or any product. You can put that. Why would they give me a quote? Businesses, especially profitable and good businesses, are in business to make an income. We live in a capitalistic establishment society. We do what we do in order to earn a profit. The reason why I do federal government contracting is for me to gain a profit, to incur a profit, right? So the reason the small business will provide me with a quote, because it's an opportunity for them to gain profit and revenue in their business. If you call a small business or you call a subcontractor and they do not want more business revenue to their business, would you want to work with them? Would you really want to hire them? You see, it's a mindset shift that has to happen. It's a mindset shift that has to happen. This is a win-win-win all the way around situation that we are in. This is a win-win-win business model that we're in. The federal government gets their needs satisfied, so they get a win. The small business, we are bringing revenue to that business, so they are getting a win, because whatever they quote us in order to perform the service, that is what they're going to get paid. If they quote us $5,000 to do this service, $5,000 is what they're going to get, because that's their area of expertise. That's the job that they do. So they are winning by getting more revenue and more profit to their business. And we are not doing this for free. So when we put a profit on top of the quote that we're submitting to the federal government, we are winning as well, because we are connecting the three together. And that's why it's a win-win-win all the way around. The federal government is getting their needs satisfied. The small businesses is getting more revenue, more profits to their business. And we are making an income, making a living by putting the three together. So it's a mindset shift that has to happen. Listen, I wish I could show you right now. I have gotten thank you notes and thank you letters for small businesses that was going to close their doors, especially during the pandemic or the whatever it is called. But we were able to inject revenue into that small business by bringing federal government contract work to them. So I hope that shifts your mind on why we do what we do. It should encourage you to do what we do. We are helping out our small businesses and our small community by bringing federal government revenue to them as well. All right. So, so we're like superheroes. Yes, we are. Let me see. Somebody says, unemployed and need steady income, flight for freedom. So listen, I will be honest with you. I'm always honest and transparent. This is not a get rich overnight business model. This is not a get rich overnight business model, but this is a business model because the federal government is the largest purchaser of goods and service in the entire world. The federal government contracting and what I'm showing you and demonstrating for you tonight is nothing that I invented. I did not invent this. This is nothing that I came up with. It's been around for multiple decades. Federal government contracting has been around a long time. The only thing now is with the advent of social media, and we have the ability now to share this with you, to let you know that federal government contracting exists, and this is how simple and easy the process is. Now you are able to get and partake in this by just covering the three things we talk about. All right. Remember, we talked about the three things. So if you are unemployed, if you are, I highly encourage you. These are the three things if you want to get started in federal government contracting space. All right. For those that are now tuning in and joining in, let's cover the three. The first step is you need to get an LLC registered and filed in the state that you live in. The federal government does not do business with individuals. They don't do business with individuals. Rather, they do business with other businesses. So your very first step, based off of the state you live in, you would get an LLC registered and filed in that state. And here is a key point. You need to use a physical address. Use your home address if you want to get in and start getting this. Listen, this is one of the biggest headaches because a lot of people conflate this with other business ventures that's out here on the interwebs. All right. If you want to be successful and get into federal government contracting, use your home address. Okay. That's one. Once you have your business established in your state, and again, we'll have the links down here in the show notes. We partnered with Busy, formerly known as InkFile. What they do to get your business registered and filed in your state, the only thing they charge you is your state filing fee. You don't have to do all the paperwork yourself and then go to the Secretary of State and then pay the state filing fee. You can pay the state filing fee and they will take care of everything else for you. All right. So that's step one. Get a business registered and filed in the state that you live in by using a physical address. After you've gotten your business, you've gotten your letter in the mail or by email saying that your business has been registered with your Secretary of State, then you would get a free EIN number. A free EIN number. It's absolutely free. If you are on a website and they're asking you to pay for your EIN, you are on the wrong site. Okay. So step one, you get your business registered. Step two, you get an EIN number for that business. And then step three, you are going to register that business inside of sam.gov. Once the business is registered inside of sam.gov, you are now ready. Those are the only three steps, and the only one that costs is getting your business registered in your state. Everything else from there on out is absolutely free. It is free for you to find these opportunities. It is free for you to get a quote from a subcontractor, because as we just mentioned, they want that extra revenue to come to their business. And it's free for you to submit and raise your hand and let the federal government know that you can perform this product or service. Okay. All right. So let me see if I think I had some more questions here in the chat before we move on. Can you please give the info about the workshop again? Sure. So the workshop, I'll put it down here so everybody can be able to see. So we're having a live virtual workshop. It's a 3-day workshop that's coming up September 18th through the 20th. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, we have accommodated for those that work a 9 to 5 that don't have the capacity to take a day off. So we do it in the afternoon. Within that 3-day workshop, you are going to learn our entire process on how to actually find, understand, and win federal government contracts. All right. All right, cool. I got a couple more questions. Diego says, with the LLC, what type of business is it? So great question. The federal government does not care what type of business you are in. They don't care what industry you are in. The beautiful thing about doing the middleman strategy, the middleman process, is that you don't have to niche down. You don't have to be specialized in one particular area or not. Once you are registered inside of sam.gov, you can tell the federal government whatever you can provide to them. You can provide porta potty service to the federal government this morning, and you can provide elevator maintenance for them this afternoon. That's the beauty and the power of doing the middleman strategy. All right. All right. So I believe we got all the questions. So let's take a look at one more. I want to take a look at one more so I could show you all what is out there in this federal government contracting space, how we look at it, and all the good stuff in between. All right. So got a good one for y'all. Let's bring to the stage. Let's bring to the stage. Let's bring to the stage box truck rental. And again, what I'm trying to highlight for you and to make you aware of is that regardless of what industry you are in, you can find a need of the federal government. The federal government buys everything. Everything that you could think of, the federal government buys. You just need to understand the system and the process on how do I find the need of the federal government, and then how do I supply what the federal government wants, okay? And listen, whenever I come on live and I'm sharing this information for you, these are active opportunities right now, meaning the federal government, as we speak, is out here looking for these opportunities. They are wanting it right now. So if I highlight something for you that has sparked your interest, you are more than welcome. Just say thank you and leave me a comment. All right. So we can see it's box trucks rental, and we can see that it's active right here. It's saying that it's active right now. The federal government is looking for box truck rentals. We can see once again, this is for a total small business set aside. For those that are new and don't understand what that actually means, it means that this award has to go to a classified small business, total small business. So a large company, a large business cannot win this federal government contract. Everyone in here, you have the grand opportunity when you're registering your business inside of sam.gov, because of the size of your business, because of the amount of employees you have, and the amount of revenue you make annually. Almost everyone, I believe, that's speaking to me right now, that are tuning in this, is going to qualify as a total small business. So you have the opportunity and the ability to win federal government contracts that are total small business and also that are non-total small business. You have that ability to do that, okay? So we can see that it's set aside for total small business. And then they start giving us the documents of the details. So I'm going to show you here. We can see that they wanted it in Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss, Texas is where they want these trucks to be rented and leased as box truck rental. So let's take a look at the opportunity. Again, my goal tonight is to show you there are different opportunities that you can fulfill for the federal government. The federal government has a list of needs that they want, and you can be able to provide that for them. You just need to know how. And that's what we provide for you at the FGC Simplified community. We hold your hand and show you our simplified process called the flow that you can use. You can steal our homework and you can use it to be able to land and win federal government contracts. All right. So let's take a look at the document and see what it is the federal government is wanting. Boom. We got a contract. We got some of the documents open right here. And we can see again, it's set aside for total small business. We can see total small business set aside. And a standard size is a business that makes $47 million annually. So if your business makes less than $47 million annually, congratulations, you are considered a total small business and you can win this federal government contract to supply box trucks rental, okay? So as we look through the documents, and again, for those that are new, this might seem like a foreign language. It might look convoluted for you, but this is where having someone to be able to explain it for you, it's just like learning a new language. The more you visit it, the more you do it, the better you get at it, okay? So this is a non-personnel service contract to provide 4 26-foot box trucks for the federal government, okay? That's one. So they want 4 26-foot box trucks. All right, so let's see. Now we start going down into the details of it, and now they're asking you. So I have pre-watched this before, and I could see here that the federal government gave us some, where did you go? Gave us some information on what actually looking for. Remember, I'm trying to highlight for you how detailed the federal government will be, because most people get scared, for lack of better words, as when they hear federal government, they think that the federal government is going to use coded language, or the federal government is going to use things to try to make you stumble. But that's not what the federal government does. As we mentioned early on, this is a need that they have. So they're going to give you the information you need in order for you to supply this opportunity. So this is how clear the federal government is being and how specific they will be. They're actually going to show you pictures of what they want. They're going to show you illustrations and pictures of the things that they need. They want this refrigerated box truck. They want 4 of them. Then they also want you to have this permit to operate. They also want a generator system. They want that. They're showing you pictures of it. If you're going to deliver fuel for Fort Irving, your vehicle must be tagged, like all of this information. If they want a forklift, they're giving you all the information that's needed. So now the same process. Listen, once you learn the system and the process, the same thing applies time after time. Therefore, it's up to you then to wash, rinse, repeat, and then be able to give the federal government what they want. So we know that they want 4 20-foot box trucks. What we're going to do, we're going to then find a local business, a local subcontractor that has these box trucks and stuff for rent. And we are simply going to ask them for a quote. Can you provide me with a price on how much it will cost for you to rent or to lease these trucks for however long the federal government wants it? Once we get the price of how much it will cost, we put our profit on top of it, and then we submit it to the federal government along with any other information that they may request. Once we submit that information to the federal government will award us the business that's registered inside of SAM.gov. It's called the prime. They're going to award the prime contractor the award to fulfill the need of the federal government. We will then turn around and hire the subcontractor to go out there and fulfill the work. The subcontractor goes out to the location, fulfill the product or service that the federal government wants. The federal government will then, we will invoice the federal government. The federal government will pay us. We pay the subcontractor. And once you learn that system, that process, you are then able to wash, rinse, repeat, scale, take it up as high as you need it to go. If anybody has watched my content, listen, make sure y'all not ghost watching. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. I try to make videos as much as I can to show you, to see if I can demystify most of the hesitation that people are having trying to get into federal government contracting. It's not as complicated. It's not as difficult as you may think it is. You just got to remove some of these precept notions of just because it's the federal government from your mindset. You need to change your mindset. Okay. So listen, remember, our workshop is starting off on the 18th. For those that want to actually book a free call with me, listen, if you want to book a free call, there will be a link down in the show notes. If you link down in the description, you can see how you can book a free call with me. In that call, what I will do, I will take a look at your business, see where you're at, evaluate your journey, and then I will give you any actionable steps you need to take in order for you to get to your desired end goal. If you want to book that free call, it would have a link down in the bottom. You can link that call. And remember, it's a Google Meet call. Okay. So once you book that call, make sure and set a reminder, because the waiting list goes on. So if you are not on the call by 5 minutes, it rolls over to the next person that's on the waiting list. So if you book a free call with me, make sure that you set a reminder so you can be able to jump on that call, so I can be able to give you any actionable steps that you might need. All right. All right. If you got questions, so especially for my YouTube family, man, y'all make sure and like, subscribe, drop your questions in the chat. I'm gonna see if I can answer some questions for you. Let me see what questions we got. How long do you get? How do you get through lengthy solicitation if they do a lot? I do not use AI. Okay, and let me see if I could explain to you why. And again, this is just my take. This is my take on this, my opinion on it. For the times that I have attempted to use AI will change some of the verbiage and some of the information that the federal government is actually requesting. Remember, there is two prerequisites in order for you to be successful in this federal government contracting space. One of them is being able to read and comprehend. If you can read and comprehend, you are going to be successful in this space. The second is being able to follow instructions. Being able to follow instructions. So, Brianna, my question to you, all right? And I love to do this. My question to you is, let me find an opportunity, and we will do this together, okay? Let me find an opportunity so we can do this together. Because we just showed you on the last one, the federal government will be as clear as mud when it comes to what they want and how they want it to be done. You don't have to use AI because the federal government will not use coded language. They will tell you, listen, we need 5 refrigerated trucks. It needs to be 26 foot long, and we need it to be delivered by such and such time. There is no reason or no need to use AI for that because they are going to be as simple and as clear as possible. So when I reach out to my local subcontractor, I am giving them the same information that the federal government is asking for. If the federal government says that they need 12, I am saying, hey, I need to get a quote for 12. I hope that makes sense, Brian. So that's why that's me personally. That's why I don't use AI, because if AI changes anything that the federal government is asking for, my quote would not be accurate and reflective of what the federal government wants. If the federal government says they want this, that's what I provide to them. How do you join? If you click the link in my bio, you can see how you can register to join the community, or you can sign up for the workshop that's coming up. If you are on YouTube, again, you can see link down in the bio how you can see the link to join the community. It will be inside of the notes too as well. You can see how you can book a free call with me so I can evaluate where you are and give you the actionable steps in order for you to move forward. So I hope I was able to answer that question for you, okay? So Cody Corey is asking, is the 3-day seminar worth it? Haven't done the first 3 steps yet. So Corey, you are part of the community too, man. So you automatically get grandfathered into that workshop. So you are going to attend that workshop for being part of the community. So you are well covered. You are well covered in that. And no, to answer your question for everybody else out, you do not need to have your business established. You don't need to have experience in this federal government contracting space in order to attend the 3-day workshop. When you come to the 3-day workshop, we are going to teach you our system in order for you to be successful in this space. All right. You know the steps, the training to learn the process to move forward. Of course, the foundational steps is what we talked about. Get your business, get an EIN, get it registered inside of SAN.gov. Now it comes the time to accelerate and move forward in that process. And that's where we come in. That's our system that we teach you. So if you want to learn that system, and again, our system is so simplified. Remember, we just crossed our 3,000 person that has come, learned our system, and now executing and winning federal government contracting. If you want to be part of that number, click the link in my bio, register for the community, join the workshop, or if you want to book a call with me, just book a call. Listen, we have people that's on this live right now who have jumped on the phone with me and they were shocked and surprised that I was the person on the phone. Listen, that's what we do on this side of the community. All right. Let me see if I can answer a couple questions before we go. Drew is asking, how do you finance? This is one of the good questions that we get. How do you finance these contracts? So here is the beautiful thing. In the landscape of government contracting, on the federal level, when it comes to service-based contracts, there is no financing needed. There is no capital needed in order for you to get started. You do not need to go into debt to start a federal government contracting business as the middleman, especially utilizing our strategy called the flow. You do not need to go into debt in order to win a federal government contract. When you win a service-based contract, they do the work first, and then they invoice you after the work is done. The federal government pays on a net 30. Therefore, we pay our subcontractors on a net 32 as well. Again, this is nothing new, nothing that we're inventing for the purposes of federal government contracting. Net 30 and paying on a net 30 basis is a standard business practice. This has been going on for decades. This is nothing new to you. This is nothing new to me. All right. This is how businesses float between their jobs. This is a common business practice. So again, I'm not teaching you revolutionize something. I'm just telling you how the system and how the process works inside of this federal government contracting space. All right. Xavier is asking, do you tell the subcontractors that you're representing the government when asking for a quote? Because what stops them from getting around the contract themselves? Great question. So there is a two-part question in this that I'm going to answer for you. All right. So listen, I always got to shout out my brother. My brother Lulu is in the building. He's talking about go Birds. Listen, we're back in football season. So for all my football cheerleader fans and all that, listen, me and Curbs, we got a rivalry going on because he is rooting for the worst team that's out there. The worst team that's out there. But these Cowboys going to do something this year. All right. Hold your breath. Hold your comments. If you on their side. All right. So the question is, when we are speaking to the subcontractors, do you tell them that you're representing the government? My question to you, Xavier, are you representing the government? That's a good question. When I am calling to speak to the subcontractor to ask for a quote, I am not representing the government. I am not calling on behalf of the government. I do not work for the federal government. I am simply calling the subcontractors to ask for a quote. Listen, everything that we do is with integrity and upfrontness. Everything that we do. We don't lie. We don't conneve. We don't do any of that. We don't mislead. We don't. I do not call and I do not represent the federal government. I am calling on behalf of my company and I'm simply asking for a quote. All right. The next question is, what stops them from going around you and getting the contract themselves? What stops them is that we had to go through the process called SAM.gov registration. We had to get registered inside of SAM.gov in order for us to win a federal government contract. So that's what stops them from going around you per se, quote unquote, and trying to get a federal government contract on their own. Now, is there a time where you will come across a subcontractor that is also registered inside of SAM.gov? Yeah, that's a possibility. But there are thousands and thousands of opportunity that the federal government needs assistance with. So if I find one opportunity that the subcontractor goes around me, and again, you would never know even if that happens. But if there is one opportunity that happens, there are thousands out there. So listen, another mindset shift that has to happen. We have to stop focusing on lack and focus on the need of the federal government. You can't focus on the one or two that falls through the crack when there are thousands and thousands of opportunities that's out there. All right. So listen, I hope I was able to shed some light with you on what opportunities are out there. I hope I was able to share with you and bring some light on how simplified and clear the federal government will be when they actually have a need. When they're looking for actual something to fulfill, they're going to give you all the information that you need. You are armed with everything you need in order to get a quote and in order for you to fulfill this federal government contract. So listen, you cannot win a federal government contract if you do not submit, but you cannot submit if you don't know how. So if you all want to tap in with us and learn this process, learn the system. Once you learn the process of our system called the flow, the sky's the limit on the amount of opportunities you can go after, on the amount of opportunities that you can win. You can scale this to as much or as little as you want. So if you want to tap in with the FGC community, again, there will be a link down in the show notes. There'll be a link down in the description where you can join the community so we can walk alongside you and hold your hand throughout this federal government contracting process. Our goal, we're trying to change it, man. Again, we've hit our 3,000 mark. We're trying to get as far as as we can go. As much people that we can teach and change their financial lives, we're trying to do to let them know that federal government contracting exists, and this is how simple it is for you to get started. All right. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If there's any videos that you want to see, drop it down in the comment too as well. Remember to register early for the workshop. We have limited seating on our workshop. Make sure that you register for the workshop. The prices and all that is in there. Once you click on the button, you will see how much it is. And I would see you all on the next one, man. All right, coach out.